If I was to go ahead and rate these cards head to head, I would rate the May the 4th, 2024 Canelo versus Munguia card a 6.5 of 10, and I would rate the April 20th card between undercard between Devin Haney and Ryan Garcia a 4 of 10. No, I'm gonna say a 3 of 10, because at least with the Canelo Munguia card, you have some fights with some fighters that you know of that are actually going to come to fight. Mario Barrios is going to be taking on Fabian Maidana, the brother of Marcos Maidana. He's the brother, right? For the WBC interim title, 147 pounds. Interesting. Brenda Figueroa is going to be taking on Jesse Magdaleno for the WBC interim title at featherweight. Amantes Stanionis is returning finally after being held up with Victor Ortiz due to Victor Ortiz's weight issues, injuries, whatever the case may have been. His career is pretty much stalled the last couple of years. He's taking on Gabriel Mastri. You may remember Mastri from that Atlantis Fox fight a few years ago, where it was highly controversial and there was some WBA corruption going on or some shenanigans. So when you look at the Devin Haney, Ryan Garcia card that's taking place just a couple of weeks before on April the 20th, you got 14 days before, actually, you have Ryan Garcia, obviously, Devin Haney. This fight is just not really doing it for me. It's not doing it for a lot of fans, and ticket sales are showing it. Ryan Garcia doesn't seem to be the draw that a lot of people thought he was, especially after he kind of shit the bed with the Gervonta Tank Davis fight. Don't get me started on Tank Davis. You know, big Tank Davis guy, but he would not have gotten those pay-per-view buys without Ryan Garcia. They needed each other. Honor Barboza versus Sean McComb. Ill. Beck the Bully, Bakhmir Muleksadr taking on Pierre. I did a whole video on this. It's on the channel. Scrappy Ramirez versus David Jimenez, and Charles Conwell versus Nathaniel Gallimore. Ill. And it's an $80 card if you don't have the zone. $80 pay-per-view. Ill. By the way, I got Devin Haney. But we're not here to talk about that card. Take your time out, like the video, subscribe. We're here to talk about the undercard and the card of Canelo versus Munguia for Canelo's WBC, WBA, IBF, WBO, and Ring Magazine Undisputed Championships against Jaime Munguia, former two-division champion, 154 and 160. Now, I'm going to go ahead and say it. I'm giving Jaime a shot. If he goes out there, balls to the wall, Mexican style, and really takes to that Canelo, he may have a chance. You know, Canelo's getting a little long in the tooth. He's had some injuries that's been piling up on him, knee, wrist, shoulder, over the years. Correct me if I'm wrong, maybe there's some more. You think that Munguia can be able to smother Canelo? And really, honestly, let's go look at the resume real quick. Can we really say that Canelo's power has really carried up to 168 pounds? Both of these guys are 160-pounders masquerading at 168. And both of these guys at one point in time was competing at 154. But in my personal opinion, Canelo is a 168-pounder. I mean, 160-pounder just masquerading at 168. Which is one of the reasons why I personally feel, I'm not saying he won't fight him. I'm just saying I personally feel he wants no parts of David Benavidez right now. He's too big. He's even said it. Guy coming in the ring, 25 pounds heavier. So that already tells you Canelo, if he gets past Munguia, if him and David Benavidez fight, and that's the fight to make right now in boxing, one of them, if he doesn't fight Terrence Crawford, he's saying he's too small, but I won't be surprised if Errol Spence comes back, wins his next fight, if it's against Fundora, whoever, that Canelo doesn't say Errol Spence is too small. But to get back to Canelo, Canelo's not 5'8", he's about 5'7". I'm glad they've actually fixed it on BoxRec because he used to be listed at 5'9". But in reality, Canelo, I have concerns about him at 168 pounds as far as his power really being there. I think 160 with the cat. Think about it. He stopped Caleb Plant, okay. Feather puncher Caleb Plant. I never rated Caleb Plant highly. I'm sorry. Biggest win over Jose Uzcategui? A guy who struggled against Matvey Korobov? That was the boogeyman? Billy Joe Saunders shit the bed. Broke his face, though. Avner Yildirim was supposed to stop him. Conor Smith beat up his arms. Sergey Kovalev, that was at 175. That was impressive to me, even though Kovalev had a quick turnaround, had significant personal issues in his life, and had a belly full of Stoli. He fought Canelo 3 months after he fought Anthony Yard. And he was busy. I'm not making any excuses. And also, there was a rehydration clause that they couldn't talk about. I remember that. It was like an NDA. I'm not shitting on Canelo. I know how you guys are, and please understand. I'm American-born Chicano. You know, I'm half black, half Mexican, and half Irish. So it's not a race thing. Like, I like Canelo, but we got to call it what it is. He's getting up there, 33 years old, 62-2, 39 KOs. You know, you can't say he won't fight nobody, but there is resistance when it comes to David Benavidez. That's just what it is. It's just what it is. That's what we're saying. It's resistance. It's resistance. It's resistance. But as far as Munguia is concerned, let's go look at him real quick before we get to the rest of the guys on the undercard. As far as Munguia is concerned, 43-0 with 34 KOs. A lot of smoke and mirrors there, too. Vamos, Munguia. 27 years old, 6-footer. He's legit 6 feet. John Ryder, how do you really rate that? By the way, he was getting tagged up. One thing I've always had concerns about with Jaime Munguia is he can be easily hit. And Canelo is a prime, elite counterpuncher. But can he stop and first of all, can he hit Munguia enough to make him do a funny dance? Or can he stop him? Because one thing Munguia does is he outworks you, pressures you. Canelo is not known to be, he fights in bursts. And sometimes he can, in the words of Al Bernstein, he can languish on the ropes. We saw it in the first Golovkin fight and the second one. The second one, he more kind of kept it in the middle. The third one, he just beat the shit out of it. Well, I'm going to say beat the shit out of it. He beat up Golovkin. Hollywood Golovkin. Once he went Hollywood, he was never the same. We ain't seen him since. He has not officially retired. Munguia went life and death for Sergey Derevyanchenko. I think Canelo would have stopped him, but also Derevyanchenko, a high-volume pressure fighter. So when you look at these smoke and mirrors here, I don't really count, like, okay, Dennis Hogan. A lot of people thought that Dennis Hogan won against Munguia. But Patrick Alati, ill. I don't count that. Gary Spike O'Sullivan, he was way long in the tooth. He shouldn't have been in there. Then I think, didn't Lara fight him after this? Shame on you, Lara. Turiano Johnson, at one point in time, he used to be somewhat of a threat, but not no more. Carmelo Zameta, he was Golovkin leftovers. Gabriel Rosado, you never know which one of those are going to show up, so you really can't count no Gabriel Rosado win these days. Demetrius Ballard, yeah. Jimmy Kelly, yeah. Whoever this man was, I'm sure I covered this, but who's this man? You know this man? You know this Vato? And then Derevyanchenko and John Ryder. So he's never even sniffed a fighter like Canelo before in the ring. Never. Who was the most technically sound out of all of these fighters, you could say? Anytime you're looking at a guy like John Ryder, Derevyanchenko more of a pressure fighter, power puncher. You can see Rosado being sort of a technician, but look, that just says it there. That says it there. This win over Liam Smith has aged well, but he was on a weight bullying journey, and oh my God, Saddam Ali, he should have never been at 154. I don't know what he was thinking. He's never been seen since, right? He ain't been seen since. No, he fought again a couple times. Yeah, world kid. But yeah, man, as we can see, ain't nothing really there to talk about. By the way, take your time out. Like the video, subscribe. Follow me on Twitter at TstreeT Controversy. So let's get through this undercard here. Brandon Figueroa and Jesse Magdaleno. It's going to be a high-intensity fight. Brandon Figueroa really grown on me as a fighter. 24-1-1 with 18 KOs. A lot of people thought that he beat Stephen Fulton, not me. And I think that Stephen Fulton would have just beat him in a rematch. He's now competing at 126 pounds, as you can see, defending his WBC interim title. What's the champion there? Hold on, I got to catch up. Sometimes my memory is late. It's almost midnight over here. Ray Vargas. Oh, he looked like shit in his last fight against Nick Ball. Covered that fight. I'm wondering if they'll revisit that now that Ray Vargas is over on Matchroom with the Saudis. Interesting. Like, the division is kind of all over the place. For example, Matchroom, both Ray Vargas, Raymond Ford, Luis Lopez, he's been over on Top Rank, and Rafael Espinoza with the upset, also over there on Top Rank. I believe he's still with Top Rank. When is he coming back? Who had that upset over Rabis Ramirez. I wonder if they're going to revisit that in a rematch. So it's really hard to say what would be next for I guess maybe a defense against Fulton. You think they would do that? Fulton coming back? You know, no tune-up? I don't know. Let's go look again. Let's see who's down here. If he wins. Like, who would we want to see at 126? A fight that can be made, like, politically. Ruben Villa, Top Rank, just signed him. Anyway, Jesse Magdaleno, 29-2 with 18 KOs. Who did he get slumped by? Dog Bay, I remember that. I was there at this fight. I remember that. A nice, solid pressure fighter, come forward guy. I'm not saying he would lose to Brandon Figueroa. No, then again, I am saying he's gonna be smothered. One thing about those Figueroas, both of them, him and Omar, that style is unsustainable long term. You know, it's unsustainable. So one day, I'm not saying he's going to get knocked out, but then again, the way Omar Figueroa was being manhandled the last end of his career, but he always had hand issues, and also apparently their pop, you know, they got some stuff going on there in the family. But overall, nice solid fight. Mario Barrios is returning against Fabian Maidana. Mario Barrios, 28-2, 18 KOs. He got that big win over Yordenis Ugas. Giovanni Santiago. Of course, he lost to Keith Thurman, had one little bright spot in there, and then lost to Gervonta Tank Davis in the fight where a lot of people thought he was winning until he just had a beat down. Tank Davis just started walking him down, beat the shit out of him, and closed out the fight. But now competing at 147 pounds, and this is going to be for the WBC interim title. So that means that Crawford he still has that title. The WBC is waiting to see what he's going to do. And Crawford still has the WBA Super World. And Astana Jonas, which we're going to talk about next, is fighting for the world. If that's the case, if Crawford's going to hold on to them belts, then they got to have that Boots fight. But it seems that there's bad blood over with PBC and Crawford. And Boots may not be a PBC fighter, but let's say what it is. If you're fighting on PBC cards, you're a PBC fighter. If you ain't fighting nowhere else out of PBC platforms, you're a PBC fighter. So I don't know if Crawford would go back there, or if they would even, I don't know. We don't know what's going on there. But he could possibly be fighting Cody Crowley, meaning Ennis. So Fabian Maidana, 22-2 with 16 KOs, never been stopped. As you can see, looks like Maidana, 31 years old, TNT. Nobody of real note that we know of, but I've been hearing and seeing some of his fights. I've seen a couple of them. I believe I've seen these two. You probably did if you're boxing fans. Let me see what cards, hardcores. Let me see what card these was on. Let's see here. Yeah, this was a Mikey Garcia, Robert Easter card. And on Spence and Shaw and Porter. Okay. Get out of here, Figueroa. Get out of here, Magdaleno. Get out of here, Munguia. So This should be a fun fight. WBC interim, I don't know how. By the way, Conor Ben posted something on his social media, kind of hinting that he wants Boots Ennis, or maybe they're negotiating for a fight. But how is Fabian Maidana getting a shot? I mean, look right here. He's not even ranked, at least not yet. But the fight's next month, so is he going to creep up into the rankings because he's not here? How'd they pull that off? Look, he's not ranked nowhere. Y'all see him anywhere ranked at 147? Fabian Maidana, nope. And he's getting a title shot. That's some shenanigans right there. That's PBC lining themselves up for them titles when Terrence Crawford decides to be stripped or vacated so they can control the belts. But look, it's like, what's going on? Like, and why should he be ranked? 14-4, and I mean 11-4-1, 9-5-2, 15-3. So you can look at this fight with side eye and be like, is this really as good of a fight as it looks like? I don't know. And you have the last fight that's going to be opening up the pay-per-view. A fight that I'm really interested in is Eimantas Stanionis, the Lithuanian, versus Gabriel Maestri. Stanionis has been inactive, really to no fault of his own. 14-0, 9 KOs, 5'8". Ratab Butayev. I remember that was the last time he fought. It will be, 25 months in between fights by the time he steps into the ring against Maestri. Sheesh. But very good fighter, like kind of like a dark horse guy in the 147-pound division, but he's got to stay active. You maybe remember Maestri from that controversial fight he had against Atlantis Fox, 6-0-1 with 5 KOs, 37 years old. So he don't really have too much time to be bullshitting around. Beat up on Devin Alexander. I remember this fight. Trevon Marshall, sheesh, don't want to mess that up. Mikhail Fox, not Atlantis. Why I keep saying that? Mikhail Fox. Mikhail, I forgot to pronounce his name. Michael, I forgot to pronounce that. I covered this. There was some bullshit. Shenanigans going on. So overall, it's a nice little fight, but in reality, as I said, given his undercard is 6-10. 6.5. Now that I really took a look at it, like 6-10. See, Ryan Garcia, Devin Haney card, that's ugly. How Charles Barkley say it, uglier than two fat women fighting over a pork chop platter. The last pork chop platter. This joint is ugly. But which one is ugly? Which one, if one was an ugly ass girl, which one would you take on a date? Which one would you say, you know what? I like you. You know what? You got a nice personality. Which one has the nice personality even though the ugliest shit? This one's got a nice personality. It's like, all right, we could work with some. You're still ugly. You ugly as all fuck, but you're nice. You got a heart of gold. I don't know. Maybe it's the degenerate in me because I want to see this fight. I want to see Stanionis. That tickles me. Stanionis and Maestri, that tickles me. Mario Barrios versus Maidana. That's going to be fun, even though he's not ranked. This is shenanigans for the belt. That's shenanigans. Full shenanigans. This is going to be fun. It's going to be a slobber knocker. Likely it's going to be a lot of punches thrown. And then the main event's going to be competitive. I like the main event. 6-10. Rate the whole card. It's not a 7 because that's too close to an 8, which is a B. It's not a B card. I can give this card a C. No, but that's too close to a C minus, which is close to a D. Is it a C plus? It's not a B minus though. I'm giving this card a C plus. I'm giving a C plus. But this card right here, I don't know. It's ugly and it got a bad attitude. Because it's like the ticket's expensive. It's $80. It's like, nah, you not who you think you are. Instagram been hyping you up. You know what? I'm taking Canelo Munguia card on a date. This one, you ain't getting shit. And I'm gonna tell all my homies about you. I'm like, yo, nah, that card, nah, she on some bullshit, dog. She ugly as shit. She got body odor. I smelt it. All right, dog. I'm out of here. You guys have a good night. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe.